Okay. Nobody else say anything. Fox Be Hungry. What is the guy saying in the song during our intro?
Oh shit! There's the words.
He says something.
We'll play it just to that part,
and I have no idea what it is.
I won't run the whole part. We just want to hear it too. What do you want?
Okay.
What is it?
It's English?
All right. Okay. So but now we'll put this in your brain.
I think he's.
Are you delayed again?
Bitch bad. It sounds like he's saying bitch bad. Oh, am I delayed again? Oh shit.
Yeah, you're I can hear
you.
Can anybody hear me? Okay.
This is orange soda today.
I think it's bitch bad, but
that's
anyway.
moonshine.
Do you want to take? We could intro. I'll intro it, and then if you want to take like 2 minutes to restart because you're like answering like 6 seconds late.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Way funnier for us than you.
Oh man.
All right. I'll be right back.
Hey Chris, were you able to get Pornsack and Jeremy for your interviews?
Oh,
were they
that's
two
right. That was
you.
you.
Yeah,
Yes,
that was
I'm
me.
talking to Pornsack tomorrow.
That's his real name, guys. He makes fun of it.
Really? Like his government name, Pornsack.
Oh, I think he's Vietnamese.
Okay, that makes
sense. Or Thai.
Yeah. My brain was going that way. I'm like, wait for it.
I had a DoorDash driver.
Is this better?
I don't know. You tell me. Is it better?
I think it's better.
There you go.
All right.
There we go.
I think it's better.
I was just telling everyone that I had a DoorDash driver one time, and his name was Titty Porn. And I was like, is that real? And I called my friends, like, oh yeah, I know people named that. I'm like, you do?
Wow.
Interesting.
I have a regular house I deliver to on my super secret day job. And the person on the address is always Dr. Bong Ripper.
Nice.
I've yet to meet this person, but he sounds like quite the individual.
Probably the coolest person you'll ever meet, ever.
He sounds outstanding. Yeah. So looks like we got about 2 people in the chat and growing.
I'm one of them. So
2 people in the chat and growing. 1 people in the chat. Whatever. A lot of people watch these like in the back in like as like a back issue. What's the word for it? Like the replay anyway. So whatever. I'm not too worried about it. Yeah, that thing. So what do we got today? Nerds of the friendly neighborhood variety. We got myself, Judah Rad, Robo Strange, G Money, Chris Runt. We got a special guest joining us, Fox Be Hungry. And I'm going to just kind of brag about you for a second. One cool thing about Fox Be Hungry is he gets all the old school out of print Valiant comics bound into these super awesome, massive volumes.
Oh, you're that person.
I've heard of you.
This is hard to read. This is the Archer one from this month.
that's it.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Or let me get.
Oh, there he goes.
Ooh.
You can see them all lined up in there too.
That's a party shelf.
Wow. Oh damn.
See, lift those up a little bit. There you go. There you go.
That is dope.
Right.
That is dope.
Right
Solar too, huh?
Damn.
Yeah. The thing was a little off for that part. But you know what? It's just gonna be in my library, unless you guys are in California and want to borrow.
I promise that you were the only person who can see that.
You're right.
Yeah.
Like, see how it's not centered by 6 centimeters.
Do you want to send it to me, and I can I can look at it and I can get back to you?
And I actually use one of those bad boys.
Oh, nice. So you send that to somebody then? You there's a binder or something you said?
There's a binder that's like lives next to my best friend about 15 minutes away.
Oh wow.
And if I couldn't just drop it off, I probably wouldn't do it. Just because I'm like, I gotta pack it in a box. But here I just drove by today. Can you guys do this? I'm like, sure, no problem. And they have like so many. I walked back and I see like all these ROM and Micronauts. Everyone sends those in, I guess. And I'm the only like Valiant guy.
Nice. Right. Cool. So today we're talking about Archer and Armstrong Volume 1. We got a brand new book that we're reading that we haven't read before. This is Volume 1, the Michelangelo Code. It looks like me and G Money have the same version.
Yours is much nicer than mine, but I'm guessing you paid more than $2.
Mine's much smaller than yours, but it works.
Ooh.
Well, that's okay.
That's what matters.
That doesn't even. Yeah, he got it. He jumped on that
reading
one.
the Star Trek version.
I'm living in the future.
Yeah.
Fox has the giant, awesome thing that he had made, and then Robo, what are you reading on digitally or?
The digital comic book reading app that shall not be named.
I've never heard of that app. I don't know what you're talking about.
Is it unlimited?
It rhymes with Momixology.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's unlimited.
Just like okay. Awesome. Cool. This volume collects Archer and Armstrong number 1 through 4. It's written by Fred Van Lente, who has been on our show, and you can watch that by clicking here. Oh wait, never mind. This is live. Yeah, just search Fred Van Lente. I freaking love comics and watch that interview. Art by Clayton Henry and Perry Perez, colored by Matt Milla, lettered by David Lanfear, and then it's edited by Josh Johns and our boy Warren Simons. Team. Before we even get into this volume, just kind of what's everyone's thoughts, like initial thoughts on it?
I dug it. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get more into each issue. I mean, there were some parts where I'm like, come on, and we'll get there. But honestly, overall, I dug it.
Oh, I think for me it's like I guess like a 7 out of 10.
Okay. Oh.
There are parts I really, really liked. Like
that's
really
a B minus.
And there were parts that just were not good.
Okay.
I mean, it's still above average. So you're saying this is an above average comic book?
I want to read more, definitely.
Sure.
Where'd you go to school where a 7 out of 10 was a B minus?
Yes.
The self-esteem school of good feelings. Yeah.
I'm never gonna know.
That explains a lot.
Wrong. 7 out of 10 B minus. Sure, that sounds right. Yeah.
I was going with it too.
Okay.
If you say numbers with authority, I will believe you.
Okay. What'd you think, Chris?
I fucking loved it.
Fucking loved it. Wow.
Fucking loved it.
Wow.
Wow.
I dig it. I got a 7 out of 10, and I fucking loved it. Okay.
It combines two things that I really enjoy. Prior to certain events in the current history, I really loved conspiracy theories, and I love mythology too. So
remember when conspiracy theories were fun and not the reason you don't talk to your parents anymore?
Right.
So you combine conspiracy theories with mythology, specifically Christian mythology. I'm in.
Cool.
Nice. Fox.
Yeah. I was a little disappointed that we had to stop at issue 4 because I was ready to just like blast through the entire thing. Because again, I'm with Chris. I loved it. It's been one of my favorites, and I liked it better than the Barry Windsor Smith stuff from the original run back in the early 90s.
I don't think anyone here on this panel, including me, has read that stuff, so I'd be interested.
Well, they kind of just stopped, so that's also part of it.
By the way, you're made for YouTube because I love that style of review of I was really disappointed that it didn't go on longer.
Yeah, but that had to grow on my wife. I used to get hit a lot. Now she just ignores me.
I fucking hated this for ending.
Reminds me of that thing from the doctor where he's like, "Oh no, I forgot to pay my bill." No, the bill came back fine. Yeah.
That's great. So why don't we just jump right into it? So I don't know, for people just joining, I'm kind of going to do like a very abbreviated little summary of each issue. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk more at the end. And that's kind of that's how it's going to go. So issue 1. So this first issue starts in ancient Mesopotamia before an event called the Great Cataclysm. What we have here are these 3 people called the Anipada brothers, and they're all in what appears to be some kind of ancient ziggurat, which is like basically another word for a pyramid, sort of. But anyway, one of the brothers, Gilad or Gilad, depending on who you ask, is laying on a stone, and he's dead. He was killed in a place called the Faraway. His other 2 brothers, Aram and Ivar, are deciding what to do about it. Ivar wants to use a device called the Boon to revive him, but Aram is apprehensive. Aram believes the Boon will kill a lot of innocent people. At this point, we're not 100% sure what the Boon is. Ivar ends up activating the Boon, despite the fact that Aram tries to stop him. The Boon, once activated, kills everyone on Earth. I guess that's kind of what the Great Cataclysm is. Anyway, we skip ahead to the present. We're at a creationist-themed amusement park in Adams County, Ohio. Inside is a replica of Noah's Ark. We meet Archer. He's demonstrating his exceptional martial arts prowess. Now, it's important to note, this is kind of a consistent theme. Every time he uses a technique, we're shown a dictionary entry on what the technique is and how it works, which is just kind of fun. But anyway, this is to demonstrate that he has an encyclopedic knowledge of every skill he possesses. Kind of like, what's his face? Fucking
Bloodshot?
Taskmaster, yeah.
Taskmaster.
He's part of a cult-like. He's part of this cult-like group called the Dominion. They're a cult. Anyway, after he's subdued all of his training partners, his parents approach him with his mission. His orders are to destroy or kill someone who is apparently he who shall not be named. He's given an artifact by his parents that will guide him to his sister. That will guide him to his goal. As he's leaving, he says goodbye to all of his fellow cult members, as well as his adopted sister, Mary Maria, who he clearly has some kind of crush on. He arrives in New York City. The artifact directs him to a bar in the meatpacking district. Shortly after he enters, he gets into an altercation with the patrons, but is assisted by a bouncer named Armstrong, who we know is Aram from the Mesopotamia part. After the struggle, Archer's artifact shows him that Armstrong is actually the person he was sent to destroy. They end up fighting, but their fight is interrupted by some strangely dressed, armed, bad guy-looking folks that capture both of them and chain Armstrong to the wall at whatever like secret hideout they live in. When Archer wakes up, he has a brief dialogue with Armstrong where Armstrong explains that he's being pursued by an ancient secret society called the Sect. Before completing his mission by killing Armstrong, which is what he's there to do, he decides to pause on that and explore the place that they've been taken to. He stumbles upon his captors, a mammon-worshipping cult called the 1%, who answer to the Sect and are searching for the Boon. Remember that thing from the beginning that killed everybody? He's surprised to see that they're talking to his parents on the big monitor, and that is the end of issue 1. Whew. That's a lot. This is a crazy one to annotate because it's just fucking crazy. Anyway, what did you all think about that? That first issue.
So that opening shot, can we like just where they're doing like the
for the first
the
page?
Boon, Boon stuff.
Yeah, like where they're that. I just
going back.
I feel like we're talking with Rhea again, making her go back and forth through all the photos. Yeah,
All
okay.
right.
So like where is this set?
Mesopotamia.
And where is that? Like geographically?
It's
Like it's like a rat.
It's actually known
okay.
for how many white people are there. That is
yeah, that was my first like what?
With cigarettes and everything. Yeah.
Fair.
But no.
I think I'm like getting numb to it. Like that is a valid. That is 100% valid. But I'm like, okay.
See, I feel like I'm getting more because I'm like
irritated?
I'm like the insulated white person who's just finding out about all of this.
Yeah.
Because like I didn't have to know. So I'm like, what? It's everywhere.
That is valid.
Very valid, yeah.
And that's when I was like, I'm not even that mad because it's like so common.
Yeah. It reminds me, the reaction reminds me of like when I hit you up and about the whole Blizzard thing, and knowing how much you love World of Warcraft. But we also know how these industries go, and you're like, hey, look, oh my god, like Blizzard, right? Like, and you're like, yeah, it's about right. Nah, it's about right.
At this point, I feel like you're just waiting to find out people are terrible.
Yeah.
Like, for some reason, I am paranoid that I'm going to find out Jeff Lemire is terrible. I don't know
No
why.
way.
Like, I'm not even that, like, in love with his work. I've read maybe a handful of his books, but, like, for some reason,
No way.
I'm like, I'm going to find out Jeff Lemire.
He's a mensch. Jeff Lemire's a mensch.
It's just, like, same with, like, Tom Hanks. I'm, like, scared every morning I'm going to wake up and, like, Tom Hanks has, like, 20 women he's murdered.
I will say one thing real quick. Lakota, as he's known on
What did he do now?
On Discord. This is actually a real place for anybody to know.
Really?
Yeah. His name is Ken Ham, and they got all this money put together, and there's a no shit to the specifications, and of course they have people riding dinosaurs, and it's a creative thing.
I would unironically love to go there. Really, really fun. That sounds like an amazing way to spend a day.
This was, like,
well, you're preaching
a weird panel to me, or this whole page.
I mean, it's no more real than going to Disneyland, so I'm all for it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I just know
Sounds
based off people who've been there. You don't just get to go there and laugh, or I'm gonna eat like this is insane. This is insane. They're preaching to you, and there's people who stop you, and then they hand you chits, and I'm like, okay, I think that part would kind of like get the fuck. I just want to make fun. Leave me alone.
So it's like a tightly controlled environment, I guess.
It would probably be funny for like
timeshare.
the first 2 minutes until everyone there is shaming you.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
Judah, we just go with the most metal shirts we have, and everybody will just fuck alone.
Yeah. Wear my cannibal corpse I come blood shirt. Yeah. See how they
I
like
think
that.
I have that shirt, so we can be twinsies too.
Yeah. Awesome. So this is a lot of setup here. There's just I really like this first issue, but it was kind of spun me for a loop because it's like it's like super just like ADD, I guess. It's like we're on one thing, we're on another thing, we're on another thing, we're on another thing. There's like such
many words at you that like remember this one, like the sect, the boon, the thing, like
the 1%, the
like
sect.
I needed, to take notes.
Oh, and there's more. There's more to come.
Right.
Yeah.
You see like
the
3 of
first
them.
2 issues,
Right.
but like they could have been the first 4, I think. That's like my biggest complaint is that like there was so much packed into 4 issues.
Mhm.
It almost
I'm
feels
going to
like
go the opposite way on you because I like that it was all compact because it's done, it's out of the way, and we don't have to.
There's
I
no
think the one
downtime.
reason I didn't like it, and that's kind of spoilers for issue 2, is how quickly Archer is like, "Oh, my entire life is a lie." Well, let's
Right.
move on.
Right.
Well,
No, I heard that.
but Archer learns a skill in a matter of seconds and masters it. So if he gets like some new thing that
Like,
changes his life,
Is trauma a skill though?
Yeah, yeah, and at the end of the issue 4, we also figure out how he's not like Taskmaster, like this is in. Well, I guess we'll get there, but this is already in his head, right? Because of the book of Ashashap, whatever it's called, however you pronounce it. Akashic. Yeah, and I'm like, but this, you're right, but I do have a biblical context reason for it, and I think it might be on purpose. But go ahead, Fox.
Oh, I was just gonna say that another reason, maybe it's what you're gonna touch on, is that I think Van Lente said that he only thought he was gonna get like 4 or 5 issues total, and that since they did well enough, they're like, all right, we'll just go keep going. He's like, well, oh shit, I only wrote like 4 or 5 issues.
That's how it feels. It feels like they wanted to tell a complete story because they didn't know when it was going to get canceled.
Yep.
Yeah.
If my biggest complaint with a book or a movie or a show is like, I wish there was more to it. Like I feel like that's not a bad complaint because it's like it should be. I want more.
Right.
Yeah, this is like only the 3rd or 4th issue that came out, right? Like in the entire like chronologically number ones. Like they had a new number 1 coming out each month because I remember I was like, Valiant's back. All right, I'm gonna start buying paper copies again.
Nice.
After not buying since the 90s.
I think my thing is that I really tend to distaste origin stories. So the fact that we did it, we got it done. And yeah, you're right. Everything everything got thrown at you. It was done quickly. Like him realizing his whole life is bullshit was like a snap of the finger.
My life is a lie.
But then for me, it's just like, okay, so that's what's going on. We can move on. And
I
that's
do
more to my taste.
appreciate a character that is really quickly able to. It's why I like Rose Tycho in Last Jedi, because she idolizes Finn, like hero worships this guy, and in a second she's like, nope, I will tase you because you are a big liar and I hate you. And like, I really appreciate anyone who is like willing to kill their heroes. So like, I like it, but I would have liked to see more, like just
more struggle behind it.
Yeah.
Well, it's like to keep it in Star Wars. Everybody's like big complaint with Luke and Rey is like they learn the Force so quick. How it's bullshit. Blah blah. But it's like, how many movies do you really want to stick on Rey and Luke like learning the Force? Like, let's just get it over with and have an adventure.
Right. There's a reason that shit gets montaged usually.
The whole him coming from this type of amusement park was just like really funny to me.
Right.
Really, it just made me laugh. It was like very clever and funny.
His life is a lie.
Yeah. And I like the I just like the flow. It was a little jarring at first, but like by the end of this issue, I was like, okay, we're in it. We're in it to win it. Yeah. And then Archer is a like funny character, like just right out the gate. Or not Archer. He is funny, but in a different way. Armstrong is a really funny character right out the gate because he's just like Fat Thor kind of like he's just got like those like fun like he's just a like
fun time
hedonist.
Him while reading this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would go with like 15 years ago Ian McShane, but he's a little too old now.
Yeah.
Ian
McShane. How big is Ian McShane?
Bigger than me.
I don't know how big you are.
Oh, I'm like 5'11", and I know he's taller than me.
I was gonna say anyone 5'8" and above is a giant to me.
As he's gotten older, he's done that thing men do where you get like wider.
Mm-hmm.
It's very weird. And just like top to bottom, just grow wide.
So it's like I'm right there too.
Right?
He's 5'7". So.
He's 5'7"?
Yeah.
Wow, he's a really good actor then.
Man, he's pretty tall.
Yeah.
So someone
did you guys know
I was just assuming like he's got to be like 6'2". He acts like 6'2". He's got tall energy.
He's got tall energy. Someone pointed out that Armstrong on the cover of the volume looks kind of like Josh Brolin. Did anyone get that?
Oh yeah.
Put it up.
So
yeah, a little bit.
Not yet. Okay.
Oh.
Josh
yeah.
Well,
maybe.
He could
maybe.
do it.
I gotta look. I gotta have him in
like...
No, I think he looks kind of like a Mesopotamian Robo.
Yeah.
Mesopotamian Robo.
Yeah, not Josh. But here's the deal. Okay, I'm gonna actually do this number. I'm gonna say yes, and I'm gonna see if I can throw this up real quick. The answer is yes. I see it now. Here's why.
We're putting up a picture of Thanos, aren't we?
Nope, not that. Stop it.
That's a big robo.
Yep.
That's a big Robo. There we go.
Longer hair with the little thingy thing and the hat.
I can see it.
Yeah, maybe.
Like he's a really good actor. So like I think he could do it.
Yeah, sure.
There's certain actors that like even like I think like Michael Shannon, anything that he takes a role in, I'm like, I think he could do it.
I want Jack Black. I want Jack Black for Armstrong because I think that'd be funny and awesome.
And
more
Archer could be most deaf.
I really want to watch Dune.
You gotta have strong big guy, not like sedentary big guy.
But they could make it that. You know what I mean? They just have to make it that.
Movie magic.
If Kumail can get buff, Jack Black could eat more.
I feel like Jack Black is a really active guy. Like, he doesn't seem like I'm fat because I just sit around and do nothing. I think he's just fat because
he likes food, which is
that's
okay.
Or just that's his body type. I mean, like, just because you're fat doesn't mean like you're eat over. Just some people are fat because that's their body.
Yeah.
So sedentary might not be fair, but still I maintain that this dude is strongman lifter big guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, who knows? But I just think Jack Black would be funny as the character, and I think a lot of like strength comes from like magic or like whatever. I think it's power based, not necessarily lifting based.
I mean, yeah, like spoilers. There's a reason he's so strong.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, but his hands are the size of your head, so
That's true.
Yeah, it'd have to be a big dude.
Some Boban hands.
Judah, what bugs me now is that if this movie was pitched like 10 years ago and someone's like, hey, let's get Jack Black, that means Archer would probably be Michael Cera.
That would be funny.
Now Sarah would actually be a dope ass pick. I like that.
Yeah, that's a funny idea. Yeah, that'd be good. But then if they can't afford Michael Cera, they'd have to hire like Wish Michael Cera, that dude who played Lex Luthor from Jesse Eisenberg.
No. Stop casting Jesse Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg is the person they cast when they can't afford Michael Cera. Prove me wrong. That's all I'm saying.
So are you telling me Michael Cera was supposed to be Lex Luthor?
He would have been a better Lex Luthor.
He would have been much better.
That's not a high bar, but
yeah, that's true.
Hey, I love Lex Luthor.
I love Lex Luthor.
I love Lex Luthor too.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I had to figure out who we were mocking.
So let's talk about issue 2 real quick. So right out the gate, we get some background on Archer, specifically that he was raised to be an assassin in a fundamentalist compound and has the ability to mimic any physical skill. Again, kind of like Taskmaster. Next, we're swiftly brought to the point issue 1 stopped at, where he's just discovered that his parents are members of the sect and are in league with the mammon-worshipping one-percenters. This causes Archer to go on an ass-kicking spree. To control him, his parents threaten Marie, who they know he has kind of a thing for, which is kind of weird. He loses his temper, but is subdued by the 1%. Meanwhile, Armstrong escapes his bonds and recovers his satchel. He begrudgingly decides to go rescue Archer from being sacrificed to Mammon. Ivar, Armstrong's brother, visits Archer and delivers a prophecy that he should stick with Armstrong. So when Armstrong arrives to his aid, Archer has already escaped. Archer apologizes for trying to kill Armstrong, and the two decide to work together. Armstrong explains that the artifact that Archer has is one of the 6 pieces of the boon. We all remember the boon. They've been hidden all over the world, and some people even worship them. It's important that the boon is kept out of the hands of the sect. Archer and Armstrong head to Rome. At the Basilica, they link up with a nun who used to work for the sect, Sister Thomas Aquinas. Armstrong triggers a Michelangelo statue of Julius II, and it reveals a secret door. Under the secret door is some kind of combination lock thing. Archer and Armstrong and the nun are interrupted by a booby trap that starts to bring down the Basilica. Archer and Armstrong figure out the code just in time, and they enter a secret chamber. Inside, they are confronted by a bunch of sword-wielding nuns called the Sisters of Perpetual Darkness. That's issue 2. I love that issue. And I love the name, the Sisters of Perpetual Darkness. I want to start a band called the Sisters of Perpetual Darkness. But yeah, what did you all think about that?
So I love this issue, but my favorite thing, there's like a little character moment where Archer goes like all badass, and then he calls everybody liar, liar, pants on fire. And it just shows that like that little bit of like, yeah, I'm gonna kill you and kick your ass, but like curse words are not a good thing, everybody.
It's like it's like when you see like someone who was like homeschooled by like very religious parents, and like they're mad but they still can't curse. It's really
it's like fudge.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I appreciated the commitment to that bit too, because that runs, and his sister, who you like we're gonna see come back later, like uses the same like, oh heck.
Yeah. That's funny.
That's how I speak now.
You got little ones around the house now.
I know, man. I got
those days. So mine is like 17 and 21, and
they're swearing already.
Oh yeah. Now it's like, oh whatever. But yeah, there were those times where like, fudge. I just hurt my toe. Can you go into the other room and plug yours real quick?
It's always the toe.
Yeah,
Your
right.
strength is remarkable.
So I did want to. This is the thing I was talking about earlier. So there is a part in the Bible where Saul, who was like a huge persecutor of Christians apparently, and goes down the road, and Jesus appears before him. He's thrown off his donkey, and he goes blind, blah blah blah, and like he goes immediately from persecutor to disciple. So if you're raised with that kind of those stories and stuff like that, and this thing happens to you, you probably are struggling. You probably have the whole thing with going on with your parents. But then this happens. Yeah, you are programmed and ready to go. Okay, I'm ready. Let's go. You know what I mean? And I think when I got to this page, I was like you, where I was like, he is turning like way too fast. He just found out his parents and his whole life is a lie. But then when I got to that, I'm like, yeah, fundamentalist Christian. Yeah, I could definitely see them like, I have a new mission now, you know, because you've already programmed for that.
I really, really appreciated like this book's commentary on religion in general. Like I didn't even need the action story. Like just give me like Archer Armstrong and Sister Thomas just like debating religion. I'll read that book.
I didn't really like the way they blended some things. Like they said pretty much in the same breath that they worship Mammon. They have the really on the nose 1%ers. Mammon is the god of greed, but then they call themselves devil worshippers, and it's like yeah. Mammon's not the devil, like the Christian devil, but
the 1%ers are absolutely far and away my favorite part of this entire book.
Yeah.
So the sect covers all these groups, and you have the 1%ers, and you have the Dominion, and the Sisters of Perpetual Darkness, and it seems like the sect is really just the amalgamation of all the various like special interest groups that we have currently in like politics. Like the 1%ers worshiping Mammon, they're the Wall Street billionaires. Then you have like the fundamentalist religious right or whatever, and you know, like I feel like later on, spoiler alert, there might be like more of like a Nazi type group.
Dude, this is why I'm like,
I might be the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts.
Yep, 100%. Yep. The U.S. Postal Service is like
exactly.
What is even in those cookies? You're gonna put those into your body, and you don't even know what's in them. So
that's true. That's true. Ooh, what if there's a vegan one? If there's a vegan sect of like an assassin ninja vegans, I will.
Did you not see Scott Pilgrim?
I haven't actually.
Oh, you haven't? Oh.
Wait, you've never seen Scott Pilgrim?
I knew it as soon as I said it.
That's Michael Cera as Archer.
It is one of the most faithful comic book adaptations ever.
Really?
Like, you should definitely read the manga and then see it. It's so well done.
Don't feel bad, Robo. I've never seen it either because I did read the comic and I had no interest in seeing the movie.
It's really, really like they literally used images from the comics.
I did watch.
So well done.
I did watch Scott Pilgrim, but I fubbed, so it doesn't really count.
What does that mean?
Fubbing is when you do something, but you don't actually experience it because you spend the whole time fucking around on your phone. So like, I watched Scott Pilgrim, but I was fubbing. So like, I was like,
bro, I have fubbed the last 13 years of my life away.
Like, yeah. So I'll have to give it a non-fub viewing, which is hard, but I'll do it.
We'll do another watch party.
Okay, sounds good. So this issue, I just really liked it because it was action packed and wild, and there are a lot of things that don't like make sense upon like extreme scrutiny, but I was kind of just along for the ride. Like the tone of this is very much like you're strapped to this comic book, and wherever this comic book goes, you're going. And I kind of just leaned into that.
This issue felt like National Treasure. Like,
yes,
it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but it's a hell of a fucking ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I'm just kind of curious, Fox. How is this depart from the 90s Archer and Armstrong up to this point?
Well, there's no Boone. That's like completely different. And Archer, his parents, he found them, molesting and raping kids, and he ended up killing his parents and coming back to life and going to becoming a Hare Krishna kind of guy to get all his skills as being the most skilled fighter in the world.
And somehow they decided to scrap that. Okay.
Yeah, weird. Yeah, like a top knot going on, kind of like kung fu.
I'm going to say something. This is going to sound bad, but that sounds way more interesting. Like, I'm just saying, like, my parents were, and hey, we got this guy. He's going to be an assassin ninja. He's going to go take over the world, blah, blah, blah. And I have to choose between one. I have to go, hey, here's the pitch. murderous chimo disgusting parents, and he has to escape his murders, and he finds out that they're murdering and eating kids, or fundamental Christians who believe in creation as a part of this sect. I'm like, this one is fun. I'm glad, but that one's way darker. And G knows what I think about dark and gritty.
But the Dominion.
That's like when I read a Captain America comic, and I'm like, oh man, hate mongers in this. Awesome.
Yeah, see?
Hold on a second.
This is what he walks in on.
Oh, that's some what's that, the writer?
That's
Garth
some
Ennis
cross
shit.
shit right
Yeah,
there.
that's some Garth Ennis shit.
Yeah.
I might have to read the old school Archer and Armstrong.
See what I'm saying? See? Don't judge
Well,
me.
it's all in this one volume.
Nice. I need you to make one of those.
Wow.
Put that up on eBay. I'll buy it off you.
Yeah.
Well, if one of you guys wants to be my family, I can send you there was a sale, so I got the Valiant fob thing with all the classic stuff.
Yeah.
And I think I got 2 more licenses or something if you guys want it. I'll just send it over.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I mean, that was before I started to I'm just going to put them all together. I'm like, shit, I just bought that thing, but it was like $30.
Damn, that's dope.
That is dope. Awesome. So, is there anyone, before I move on to issue 3, does anyone else have any other thoughts, feelings, or concerns with issue number 2?
I like that they dabbed into Lilith. That was dope. I was like, hey, yeah, like you were saying, Chris. There was the whole the Christian mythology thing. That's always super interesting, Judeo-Christian stuff.
This made me want to watch Supernatural real bad, which I did while I read it.
That's what I was just going to say. That's where I learned all my Judeo-Christian stuff, even though I live 2 blocks from a church.
Nice.
Nice.
Let's be real, the writing on Supernatural is way better.
Oh, Lilith, that's season 8 or something.
I'm gonna go a little bit less serious. I really like nunjas.
I like the nunjas too.
Oh, dude,
Well,
if
just
you like
the use of
nunjas,
that word
you should
was-
read Sisters of Sorrow by Kurt Suter.
That sounds cool.
It's super cool.
I like these Sisters of Perpetual Darkness. I like saying the words Sisters of Perpetual Darkness. It's just phonetically very satisfying.
Christian clergy have really cool outfits, and I love when they are appropriated for comic books.
Yeah.
Same with in the new Watchmen for your HBO?
Uh-huh.
With
Yeah.
the main characters
yeah,
outfit, oh
Yeah. Nuns, when done right, look metal as fuck.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
for sure.
go to a Catholic school, but I have to imagine that if I had, from my friends that did, they had a nun that would make you walk across tacks and shit. That
Oh my God.
seeing an evil nun, either in stuff like horror movies or in shit like this, has got to be extra intimidating.
Yeah, 100%. What are you guys
Also, I'm so sorry if your parents sent you to a Catholic school.
You gonna say something, Chris?
I was gonna say, Judah, if you start that band, it has to be an all-female band.
Yep.
No,
you
Twisted
can't be a part
Sister.
of it.
Twisted Sister's not an all-female band. I can be the Sisters
fine,
of Perpetual
but you
Darkness.
have to perform in drag then?
I will.
And nuns,
Excellent.
yeah.
Actually, to be fair, you would have to be an all-Japanese female band because that would just be better.
That would be bad.
I can.
That
That might
does
be more
sound really
challenging,
cool,
but I
yeah.
can work on it.
But speaking of that, I will say this much, and it kind of goes back to what we were saying before about how they're packing so much. I hope that we get more of what's happening with the Sisters of Perpetual Darkness, because it's why are their eyes black? Do they have powers? Where did they come from? What do they do? Is this the end of them? Are they all dead? Is that all of them? I want to know more about them.
You're only touching the tip of the iceberg.
The tip is the best part. So
Just the tip.
Your entire world is about to be turned upside. Everything you thought you knew is about to become a lie. So,
okay, so I've known you for a long time. I just need you. Do we get more of the nuns? Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you were being theatrical or if there's information in there.
I mean, I was, but yeah.
More nuns.
Both, yeah.
So, issue 3. Within the Vatican catacombs, the Sisters of Perpetual Darkness explain that they descend from Lilith, not Eve. They appear to be initiating a new member. It's this is occurring. Next, we see Armstrong fighting as a team. Archer and Armstrong fighting as a team, and taking out the Sisters of Perpetual Darkness that attack them at the end of the last issue. After the fight, they come across the Vatican's Z collection, which Sister Thomas explains is one of the allegedly burned books from the Inquisition. There are two nice Easter eggs here, by the way. One involves Archer beginning to read the Necronomicon that is like straight out of Evil Dead. And the other one is them stumbling upon the church's research into a race of alleged extraterrestrials calling themselves the Vine. Hello, XO. Armstrong begins to... Yeah, Armstrong, he's, of course, goes straight for the wine cellar and starts raiding it. Sister Thomas explains to Archer how Pope Julius II wanted to hide the torque from the rest of the world. The torque is one of the parts of the boon. As Obadiah Archer continues to explore the catacombs, he comes across Mary Maria. As it turns out, she's on her own mission. Remember, she's his like adopted sister. She's on her own mission to infiltrate the Sisters of Perpetual Darkness. Marie reveals that the Dominion, which is Archer's former cult, is about to assemble the entire boon with the purpose of taking control of the sect, which is starting to seem like a federation of cults and secret organizations. When Armstrong shows up, Mary attacks him since she's still under orders to kill him. Archer stops her and shares what he learned, that Armstrong is not a bad guy and that the Dominion and the sect are actually evil. The two end up fighting. Mary kills Sister Thomas and defeats Armstrong and Archer, and then leaves with Armstrong's satchel. Now that Armstrong knows that the Dominion has 5 of the 6 pieces of the boon, he knows exactly where they're going next to retrieve the last piece, the axle. That's the name of the piece, the axle. On the last page of this issue, we see that the axle is being kept by some Nazi-type guys called the Green Dragon Lamas, the keepers of the Lichen Monastery of Ladakh. And that's it. And these guys are wacky looking. Like they're like, they look like a cross between like I guess like Himalayan monks and Nazis. Not just Nazis, like literally Hitler like cosplayers. Like they've gone full mustache. So
there's literally a line.
Yeah, no, those we just like those.
Yeah, there's literally a line in the next issue that made me laugh. It was like, "Oh no, it's not a statement. We just like them."
Yeah,
I was like, "That's a good joke." There's a moment in this issue though where he goes, "I'm gonna throw you and do a cannonball special," and all I heard in my head is, "Oh shit, George Lucas is gonna sue somebody."
Also, Len Wayne's gonna sue or Chris Claremont's gonna sue someone.
Yeah, I was gonna say. That's what I put in the Discord. I was like, I'm like, Mom, can we have Colossus and Wolverine? We have Colossus Wolverine at home. Right. This is the one.
I don't think, to be fair, I don't think they were trying to really steal it. I think it was very much like, we know you know. Yeah.
Yeah, like here's our version where it doesn't really do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
I really, really hope that the sister shows back up. She didn't like die. No, she gets away. Yeah.
No, she gets away.
I enjoy her very much because she shot his eyes out.
Yeah.
She's slightly less hot.
Yeah.
Like, I like her. She's angry.
Yeah. She's a lot of fun. We definitely see a lot more of her.
Good.
But yeah.
Their love more for their brother, sister, adopted love.
It goes in a direction that you definitely won't predict. I'll put it that way.
Or maybe you will now that he said that.
Yeah,
but no.
Wait,
but maybe you know that I wouldn't, that I do now. So now,
the end of this issue with these Green Dragon Llamas, I was like, I could not wait to turn the page and read more about just see how this goes down. It's so zany and wacky. This is kind of off the wall, but it reminds me a lot of the Warriors. Did any of you ever watch the original Warriors?
Yeah.
All like the themed gangs.
Oh,
like the baseball.
Oh, come out and play.
Yeah, Warriors. Yeah. Did you ever watch the whole movie? It's like each gang has like a very
7,000 times in a meme, but no.
Each gang has like a very specific theme. Like there's like the baseball gang, and they're all dressed like baseball players. They all have baseball bats, and like.
Is it supposed to be funny, like camping? It's supposed to.
It is. It's funny and campy, but it's like basically the premise, and I'm not going to get too into it because it's mostly unrelated. But like all of New York City, all the gangs in New York City meet for like this one like give a gang meeting, and someone kills the leader of all the gangs of New York City, and frames the Warriors, who's like this gang from Brooklyn. So all the other gangs are ordered to kill the warriors, and the warriors have to make it back to Brooklyn with like all the other gangs hunting them, and each gang has like a zany theme, so it's just really funny and fun. But this kind of reminds me of that, with like all these like very, very like committed cults basically that are like committed to their shtick.
Nice.
I've never seen this. I might have to.
Everybody
There's also a video game for PlayStation 2.
And it wasn't a bad game either.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad game.
That was pretty good.
But yeah, everyone here needs to watch The Warriors. It's a classic, outstanding film. But yeah, this issue is fun. It was just a lot of fun. This is like the third issue of an arc from what we've been doing with this Club Valiant. Always seems to be very exposition heavy of like, okay, well, let's set up the end of the arc. And this was definitely that as well. But I thought it was like action packed and fun enough.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always have the least to say about the third issue.
It's a giant action sequence. We go from one action sequence to another action sequence with a little explanation in the middle, and then Nazis at the end, so you know who the enemy is.
Yeah.
And on to the next issue.
Yeah, the sect is just like crazy. It's like it's just an interesting like. It's definitely something that like this leaves me wanting to know more about.
Yeah, I would like for them to go more into some of the sect groups, and I'm sure they will later on as the series continues.
Yeah, we have quite a few Archer and Armstrong trades ahead of us, including a crossover that there will be some kind of crossover in the future as well. But yeah, there's a lot. This world just blows up bigger and bigger. It's definitely one of those titles where it, like, you start here and it just continues to expand into this big, wild, crazy thing. Yeah.
This feels like a title that, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm reading a water balloon, if that makes sense. But just like it's getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty wacky. So we'll just go ahead and conclude the issue 4. So starts off with
one thing I forgot to mention. I think this is back to issue 2 with the 1%. I just love their chanting, you know, like blah 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 blah, exchange traded derivative contracts. I'm gonna call option.
Yeah. Every piece of dialogue, I think, from the 1%, I read out loud to Dakota, my partner, because like just that, like they have this like we're explaining our evil plan, and like it's like 2 pages of explaining their evil plan, and then they get to like to bankrupt Greece.
Yeah,
like that was part of it.
You want to stabilize the world government by bankrupting Greece.
They're Black Monday murders.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, but
all
there's a thing. Like, there's a prophetic thing about Greece. So if this all like ties into the whole Mammon and then the
where do you know this stuff from?
I used to be that guy.
No, I mean, like, is that like is Mammon part of like Christian mythology?
No, it's part of demonology. I mean, like,
okay,
it's more Kabbalic, which
like I heard of that for the first time when you guys did the episode on Black Monday murders, and I'm still like,
that's a long time ago.
And I'm still like, is that? That's where I heard it first. Did Hickman make this up?
No, Mammon is actually real, like old demonology and stuff like that. Like it's been around, and then people like take it, you know.
Most of the dogmatic stuff about demons and hell and like the Divine Comedy and like the layers of hell, all that other stuff, most of that is not actually in the Old and New Testament. Most of that comes from like other writings that are like expand on. Apocryphal writings, that like expand on the Bible. So like the Kabbalah kind of is like an expansion of the Old Testament, and it's all the mystical stuff that most people didn't really buy into at the time. And then you have like Dante's Inferno and what's his face's Divine Comedy and like or the Paradise Lost and like all that stuff that kind of is treated like almost like a canon by a lot of people that follow the faith, but isn't necessarily.
There's like a hell fandom.
Yeah.
It's like hell fan fiction. Yeah.
I will get this question though. The fact that Dante's Inferno and Paradise Lost, that's like well, I won't say 100, but 99.99% of everyone will go, yeah, of course that's fiction, but really makes you think, right? But the other stuff, it goes like this, and I'll say it in one sentence. Yeah, it's not canon, or it's not included into the main books because the people in charge don't want it to be, and then boom, you know what I mean? And then there's where
I met someone who was like that with Tolkien.
Yeah,
but like there's
the
a conspiracy that Christopher Tolkien didn't want certain things to be known. And like, are you for fucking real?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly like that.
So, G, can I ask you a serious question? Have you ever actually sat down and read the Bible cover to cover?
Fuck no, it's terrible. Have you?
Okay, I have. The thing about the thing about the Bible,
but I'm not gonna read that shit cover to cover.
The thing about the Bible is it's like most mythologies, where it's really a collection of stories that's supposed to tell morality, and it gets bastardized, and there's some bad things in there as well. A lot of the shit that like what they're talking about, isn't in that, and even a lot of the shit you hear Christian fundamentalists out in the real world talk about isn't in that. They're getting it from like preachers.
Are you telling me that Christian fundamentalists
shit.
aren't basing their beliefs on the Bible?
5 minutes in hell. Remember when you used to see that at the airport? Like,
but
that's the big, like, that's what most people don't really know about the Bible that haven't read it, is that it is a collection of stories that is supposed to be a morality tale, but like it fails along the way and it gets bastardized. And it's just like, to me, when you read other mythologies like Thor and Zeus and so on and so forth, those are also morality tales. Like, you shouldn't take those seriously.
Dude,
and anyone that did probably fucked up on the way.
Understand like why the world is the way it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's also a big fuck you to the like the Roman like, if you read at the time, like the gods of the Roman Republic / Empire were like they thought nobility was a virtue. They thought wealth and accomplishment and like success and power were virtues.
Being like me is basically what you should try to be like.
Well, yeah.
No, that's just like, I feel like that's most of history, because that's like also the US. Like, hey, you should basically just try to be like a white, cisgender, heterosexual Protestant man. Like, that, if you could just aim for something in there, that'd be great.
Well, that's once Christians became powerful, but at the time Christians had no power. So with like having like a poor person like Jesus saying that the meek would inherit the earth and that their one God was more powerful than all their other more popular gods. That was like, it was kind of like a counterculture at the time of like, actually being a fucking Roman patrician doesn't get you into heaven. Being a poor good person gets you into heaven. So,
which is why you shouldn't take Scientology as a joke. Because one day it won't be a fucking joke.
It's not now. They own a lot of real estate around the world.
But just to tie this back to the comic book, and then we can go forward. But I just want to. I feel like we got lost somewhere. The Greek thing that they're talking about,
when you read a good comic book.
I know. You're right. The Greek thing that them bankrupting, there are when you look at the Book of Revelations, a lot of the people that go into that kind of get into that, and one of the things is the king of Cyprus has to die. All these things have to happen, and Greece is a part of the second coming. So if they're pushing to bankrupt Greece, when I read that, I'm like, they're doing the whole like trying to make the second coming happen again thing.
I like that. But that's
almost like an Easter egg.
It's like that Mark of the Beast, tribulations.
Exactly. Yep.
That's awesome.
Okay. Nice job, Van Lente.
To Fred.
Somebody did
old Fred.
And he wrote that Action Philosophers, G, the one I recommended for you.
Yeah.
That's right.
Still in transit from the library.
Nice. So, issue 4. This is the conclusion of this trade. Starts off with the keepers of the Lachen Monastery of Ladakh assembling the boon with all of the pieces. It seems as if Mary and the Archers of the Dominion, which is Obi Zeebel's step-parents, arrived there first. Mary discovers that the satchel she stole from Armstrong is a magic bottomless satchel. Nearby, Archer and Armstrong are observing the situation and planning their next move. As Archer and Armstrong sneak into the facility, things get a little bit heated between the Keepers and the Dominion. It's revealed that they're not even Obie Archer's real parents. A fight ensues between Archer and Armstrong and the Keeper Nazi-type weirdos. Mary shows up, takes out some of the Keepers. Archer discovers that the Dominion has captured a geomancer, which we still don't know quite what that is yet at this point, who led them to the fulcrum, which is apparently one of the main pieces of the boon. So many fucking made-up words. Not made-up words, but so many, like, terms here. Anyway, Archer's adoptive father triggers the boon. While this is happening, Mary is explaining to Archer that she realizes he was right. She expresses extreme remorse for killing Sister Thomas, as she should. She also lets him know that the Dominion are not his real parents. This is when Ivar shows up again. He explains that the boon has a weak point that only Archer can strike. Archer, however, is more interested in saving Mary, who's having her life energy sucked out by the boon. Ivar reveals that he's one of the 3 Antipada brothers from the beginning. He explains that he's been walking through time ever since then to find redemption from the catastrophe that occurred when he first activated the boon, which apparently was like everybody dying. Archer successfully stops the boon, which also kills the captured geomancer. Armstrong warns Archer that the death of the geomancer will summon the Eternal Warrior. In the last panel, we see that Mary did in fact survive. This is like the thing that I think that made me laugh right out the gate was like, you know how a lot of Valiant books, the first page does a little bit of a recap. The first page of this one, the recap was like, fuck it. Just
right.
I was going to say, actually go back to that. It's page 79. Quick shout out to the letterer. There it is. Oh, here it comes. So that moment you're talking about when he actually like drew out little pointer fingers, shout out to him for doing the extra mile and making a really funny moment.
Okay.
Yeah. I love the voice of this. I think like as far as this whole trade goes, like the voice of Van Lente is really like that's the thing that sells this and makes it fun. It's not the story. It's mostly not the character. Like the characters are good, but it's like that kind of like just funny Fred Van Lente voice throughout the whole story that really does it for me.
Yeah, and I also, as a fellow heavyset man, I think it's the next page when they're like, "Oh yeah, we didn't realize how heavy you were," and the wire breaks.
Yeah.
I felt for that moment.
Story of my life. Me up.
So Mary, just like Archer, also kind of adapts to her new understanding pretty quickly.
And she doesn't have the God moment to help her along. Yeah, I think these characters do just kind of like get over shit really quickly.
Yeah. The story's at like a breakneck pace.
So is this supposed to be like a humorous thing? Like, they're the save, Shaplat. I'm like, what?
This felt so like forced, I guess maybe I don't think that's right, but it's just like what, like, oh, and then this fell in him and now this warrior's after you. So
yeah. So the way I took this one right here was like I thought that was like them trying to put in like slapstick comedy. I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck just happened?
The geomancer is very, very, very important to the Eternal Warrior.
Well, and that's like you brought in this character. It kind of felt like you were going to do a big reveal and it was going to be like somewhat, but like this series hasn't been going on long enough for that. So I'm like, this character is obviously important, but then you did like a Tom and Jerry death.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Fox, having read all the like old 90s Valiant, when you see this little like Eternal Warrior tease at the end, were you pretty stoked?
Well, I already saw him. You already saw him, in EXO, so I knew he was coming. Let me see. Look at that.
Do you see him in EXO? Like at this point, because like
he was on like the first page.
He's on the first page.
That's like one Easter egg. You see the guy with the scar.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So he's in there.
Right on.
I mean, I got a little bit of a taste of it right after issue 4 because if you read them in the issues, I mean, the issues put like the first 4 pages of the next volume in the end of issue 4.
Okay.
I really can't remember how stoked I was just because that was like 8 years ago.
Right.
And then I was hit with some. I'm not gonna lie to you, the Eternal Warrior stuff wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah, that's what we have next time, and I don't think anybody here is gonna like it. We have the first 4 issues of the Greg Pak Eternal Warrior, and I'm just ready for everyone to.
I like Greg Pak.
One of the few Valiant that I had purchased before, like this was a whisper in your mind.
I like
but yeah,
Greg
that was
Pak.
like one of the few that sounded really good to me, and I generally like Greg Pak.
I like Greg Pak.
Yeah.
I just don't think I don't think he cared about it. Like, I don't think he was emotionally invested in what he was doing with it, and it kind of shows. We'll see. We'll all talk about it.
And I thought it was going to be really good since Van Lente and Pak wrote a lot together for Hercules. Did they work for Hulk too, or just Hercules? I think it was Hercules.
I don't remember Van Lente on Hulk.
Well,
remember
when
Greg
it switched
Pak
to
on Hulk.
Incredible Herc,
What?
Van Lente wrote that.
Okay.
And
What?
that's. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Or am I like just making stuff up?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, I
no.
know.
I vividly remember like Planet Hulk from Pak and like World War Hulk from Pak. I don't remember any Van Lente stuff.
So
Well,
when it
not
went away, Incredible Hulk became Incredible Herc for like a couple of years with him and Amadeus Cho. And kind of the background, if I'm remembering correctly, is Tom Brevoort got Van Lente to write Incredible Herc with Amadeus Cho as his little like sidekick kind of thing. And eventually Van Lente found out from Brevoort that he's like, oh yeah, I wanted you to write something like Archer and Armstrong from the 90s. And Van Lente didn't even know. And then he got this job writing Archer and Armstrong.
Oh, that's a cool tidbit. Nice. That's interesting. I didn't
And
realize.
Hercules kind of reminds me. I'm like, oh, then I read that entire run after I heard that.
We had Van Lente for like 40 minutes, and he didn't
it's
even
not
mention
gonna
that.
You want to put a link in the chat, and then I'll upload it up.
Just search it on Comixology, but it's literally as soon as you see it, I think you'll recognize it because it's that I don't know the exact issue, but it's a riff on an old Hulk cover where Hulk's down and like holding up a building.
Incredible Herc. Is that what I'm
Yeah.
looking for?
Yeah. And you guys have probably seen like the meme or the GIF of like Herc smiling. If you just type in Marvel Hercules smiling, he's got like this like funny ass grin when he thinks Amadeus Cho is about to hook up with somebody. He's like if you just like seriously type in it right now, you'll be like the first image that pops up.
It's literally right after World War Hulk, so it's 2008.
That looks pretty
That's
dope.
not even the one I'm talking about. No, but yeah, it was one of the collections that had that cover, and I know it was an issue in the. Well, that's weird. Yeah, but
What was the thing
Oh,
you
yeah.
said? Herc smiling something?
Yeah, just Marvel Hercules smile.
yeah,
Yep, that's a smile. Like right when he's Amadeus.
Nice. That should be one of our reacts in the Discord.
Yeah.
That's good.
One of the stickers.
Yeah, that should definitely be a sticker.
Yeah,
When we
and
get
I've
more
never read
stickers-
Hercules before, and then I'm like, shit, I gotta read that run. So yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
I always feel like Hercules is one of those ones that is supposed to be super strong, but I feel he only ever pops up when he's next to somebody who's less strong than Hercules. Like Hercules always gets his ass whooped by somebody like Thor or Hulk or somebody.
He's definitely like Thor
Yeah.
Jr.
Yeah.
what Al Ewing started doing with him in Guardians, I liked, and then they kind of just left that in the background.
Hmm.
I like Hercules, but I don't think he like has like there's he's less Thor than Thor, but like he's like there's so many characters that do the Hercules shtick better in various capacities that I just have never like felt like a desire for more Hercules.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to this just volume, what does everybody kind of think going forward from this? Are you excited for more Archer and Armstrong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I might read it tonight.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's only
Yeah.
25 issues.
30 minutes before the next episode, we have to do it. You know?
It
We
was
got,
the first book since Exo Manowar that I like really, really dug. The other ones, I think everybody knows that I wasn't so hot on them, and except for, I mean, Bloodshot Volume 2 was okay, but this is the first one where I'm like, okay, I'm back to like
You liked
something I really like.
You liked Harbinger Wars.
I liked it, but I'm saying like that level of like if this show stopped today, I wouldn't continue with any Harbinger stuff. But I would probably keep reading this. And I would keep reading EXO, you know?
Okay, fair enough.
Like when I got the email the other day that Harbinger's coming back and here's a review copy, I'm sure that's not a secret at all. I was like, okay, I don't care.
Okay.
Well, as the club goes on, I think you'll like more his Imperium, which doesn't even focus on Stanchek or any of those other Harbinger people, but more on Toyo.
I don't see how anyone could dislike Imperium. It's so good. Everyone here is going to like Imperium, I think. Yeah.
And then you guys watched Arrival? The one with the
movie?
The alien, the movie with the aliens. Yes. Not Charlie Sheen, the Arrival. That's a different alien movie.
No, the ink future telling octopus people.
Yeah, exactly. That guy wrote, eventually you'll get to it, he wrote Secret Weapons, and that was like the last really good Harbinger related book before Dinesh and all them got kicked out.
Yeah. Huh.
Nice.
So like, they had an actual like screenwriter write something really good with him and Kent eventually, I think.
So I'm way ahead of this show on Valiant, and I still haven't read every single Valiant trade that exists, but this is where I'm at chronologically. I'm on the second volume of Britannia, and it's pretty dope. But Secret Weapons is coming up in like a couple trades, so now that I know that it's Harbinger related, I'm super excited.
Oh yeah, it's like a live wire centric. She starts becoming the main,
one
of the main characters.
Awesome.
That's dope.
Awesome.
That
is dope.
About this issue, and then also just about the whole thing in general, I think this might be one of the least favorite ones of mine. Even though I'm like, I'd probably still rate it a 6 or 7. And I think that really just kind of goes to, it's really more saying like how much I love Valiant so far in general. I'm enjoying myself and all that. So I wouldn't say this is bad, but I'm just not a fan of
screwball comedies.
Exactly that. Exactly.
You are not going to like Quantum and Woody.
Yeah. You're not going to like Quantum and Woody. You're going to like Quantum and Woody.
I can't wait for Quantum and Woody.
Now let me say this. I might like Quantum and Woody, but here's the thing. I don't like when things try to be more than one thing at once. It's the same thing like what Danny was saying about the zombie What If. It was just like that's dark. That's fucking dark. They're fucking dead. They're undead. Like your friends are dead, and you have a talking head that's gonna make a joke every 30 seconds. I'm like, Shang-Chi, Aquafina, fucking awesome. She's hilarious. But I just felt that they just made her make too many jokes along the whole movie. I'm like, guys, gonna go funny fast. Stop making a joke. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't like when they try to be both.
Quantum and Woody is tonally, I think, similar to Archer and Armstrong, but it leans even more into being funny. Like, I would say almost more of like Rick and Morty / like maybe Archer vibes. Not Archer from Archer and Armstrong, but Archer the show. Right. Yeah.
And so if you come in like this is a funny thing, now you're reading a comedy deal. Like I like Rick and Morty comics. That's slapstick. That's funny because that's what I'm there to read. Not like my parents and then evil cabal and then Mammon and Nazis and then it's like, hey, whoops. Oh, haha, the fucking Geomancer got splattered. I'm like, what the fuck is okay? So
see, I like having a comic relief, and that's why I think is it Aquafina? Is that her name?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Her throughout Shang-Chi was one of my favorite parts because even in like the serious moments, I was like, there was some lightheartedness to it, and it didn't have. And it goes back to we've already done this, but it goes back to my why I prefer Marvel or DC. Is because you can have those lighthearted moments and be a little bit like less serious and still have the serious moments, as opposed to always having to be like, I'm angry.
100%.
And I mean, like some people deal with serious situations by making jokes. Sure. She felt like a very genuine character to me. Like I know people who are like that.
I literally in my life had to work on not like laughing at dark moments because that was how I dealt with it and people took it the wrong way. So that might be another part of it.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes I'm more like Robo when it comes to that, where I don't want like funny intruding on just cool. And then sometimes I think I'm more like Chris, where it's just about how it's done and it's about how I feel when I'm reading it or watching it. So.
I love Guardians of the Galaxy and Ragnarok. So
right.
Yeah, that's true. And But they do a pretty good job of not letting the funny happen at the expense of just the straight up cool.
Right.
Balancing comedy and seriousness is like fucking hard.
Yeah,
I think very few things do it well. Like Scrubs, that TV, like that show is really good at balancing comedy and seriousness.
100%.
That's why dark humor is so hard to do. Like I love dark humor, but there's so little of it that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's also individual mileage may vary to where it's so hard to gauge if it's good or not because everyone just reacts to that stuff so wildly
like
differently.
Art is subjective or something. I don't know.
Almost like that. Yeah.
Nope, not at all.
And I haven't seen Shang-Chi yet.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to be the pronunciation police on this one just because I got a lot of Asian friends here in the Bay Area. Do they actually say Shang-Chi in the movie, or do they do
it's Shang-Chi?
It's Shang-Chi, right?
There's a whole scene where he is talking with Awkwafina's character about like, this is how you pronounce my Chinese name, and
that's why I
appreciated that because like my Chinese brother-in-law has done that with me, and with like his wife, my sister. So like, it's like this felt so genuine.
I also appreciate that Awkwafina didn't get it right one time the whole time.
It's also that conversation is one. I'm not going to spoil it because it really is funny, but that's one of the most humorous conversations in the whole movie.
Yeah.
I still want to see it.
Yeah, so like Fox, it's one of those things. I jokingly now call it Sean-Chi, and you'll get that when you see the movie.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things for me. Like it's so ingrained in my head to say Shang-Chi that I know I'm wrong, and I try to change it. And I'm good at it sometimes, good at other times. But it's the Dormammu thing. I'm saying it wrong. I know I am. But I don't like it's. I've been reading comics since I was a little kid. That's how I said Shang-Chi. So, he does call it Shang-Chi.
Yeah, it's tough to remember. I was just thinking. I just was watching Invincible a couple of weeks ago, like a rewatch. I'm like, shit, I pronounced everything wrong.
Yeah.
Every single one of his characters.
If we were just
that's just America from Kentucky.
Yeah. We were talking about that not too long ago when we were talking about names from books we've read, right? Like you were talking about like Lord of the Rings stuff, and then the Lord of the Rings book comes out. I was like, oh.
I am at this point a compulsive like Googler because I don't want to look stupid. So like I definitely, as soon as the casting for Shang-Chi was announced, I'm like, how the fuck do I say Simu Liu? Because like I didn't want to look like an asshole.
I used to call Ray. So
behind the scenes for my show, whenever we do an interview.
It was Robo.
Whenever we have an interview for the show, the first thing I say is pronounce your name. And I don't care if your name is Dave Smith. Like, Dave Smith is the most American fucking name in the world, but I'm going to make
Dave Smythe?
Yeah.
Wow, Chris. Wow.
And I got Pornsec tomorrow. And honestly, if I haven't listened to interviews of Pornsec, I would think that was wrong. I'd be like, I'm definitely saying Pornsec wrong.
Yeah.
But
I'm not. How do you say his last name? I don't know how to say his last name.
I gotta ask him. I knew it at one point, but
I think the other guy's name is just Jeremy Holt. That makes it easy.
Yeah.
My real last name is seems incredibly difficult for people to pronounce. It's actually really easy to pronounce in my opinion.
They don't want to do it.
They just don't want to do it. I'll just, I don't care. I've already been doxxed. My actual last name is Wiener. And it's spelled Wiener. So
it's
Wiener.
Good German name.
It means from Vienna. It doesn't even have any reference to hot dogs or dicks, but that's that's how it's pronounced. And anytime I go to a thing, like, being active duty military, I'll go to like a place, like whenever I go to shoot, whenever I have to go shoot, we go to like this place that's a shooting place. And before we can go out and start shooting guns, they go down the roll call of everyone who's there. And there's always like some like E4, E5 who goes down the list and they get to my name and there's always a pause. They're always like, Sergeant Wilkinson, Sergeant Wasserman, Sergeant Weiner. Always like Weiner with a question mark, and then I
was like, that's not better.
How much did you take in basic?
You know what's weird? None. You would think it would be a lot of shit, but it's almost like it was such low-hanging fruit that nobody really went for it. I was actually a little disappointed because I thought it was going to be. I was gearing up for it to be like a thing, and it kind of wasn't a thing.
You're ready to fight back.
Third grade was the year of wiener jokes.
Oh yeah.
So my middle name is Benjamin. So people would always be like, "Hey, Benjamin, any wiener lately?" And that was like the big sixth grader
Why
joke.
would you tell them your middle name?
I was gonna have that B Wiener. I thought that was gonna be the joke with the Benjamin. That's very creative.
That's
That is
okay.
very good.
I got run of the litter all the time, Judah. Don't feel bad.
The runt of the litter.
Yes, I got it all the time. Do you know what my grandfather's name was before he immigrated here? His last
What
name?
was it?
This is the most German thing you're ever going to hear. It's Von Rundstedt.
And then change to
Runt.
oh
So
same name.
my
Nice.
my best friend who lives in Belgium now, if his great grandfather was in the SS, decently high up in the SS, he knew Hitler.
Oh wow.
And they
Hitler.
instead of going to South
He had famous
America,
friends.
moved to New Ulm, Minnesota, at the end of World War II.
See?
And
That's
changed they changed their last name to Nidecker because it's boring as hell.
Was he a paperclip?
Nidecker.
Operation Paperclip? You know what that is?
Honestly, I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe I could ask. But yeah, like if they had not left Germany, Brian's name would have been Otto Aloysius von Rotmeyer III,
Wow.
which is like,
That's
how is that not a comic book
phenomenal.
character? Right?
That just screams
Red
Aryan
Smoke.
pride. Yeah.
I think that's a character in The Preacher.
Yeah.
No,
Right?
gee, I've told friends of mine that my family's original last name, and everybody's
Right.
just like, "How is you need to make that into a comic
Change it
character?"
back.
I mean,
Anyone
you
with
literally have a
Von.
Von.
Yeah.
There are no good there are no good guys with Vons in their name. It doesn't exist.
And we
All
can
right.
all
Cool.
thank Victor Von Doom. Thank you,
That's
Victor Von
true.
Doom.
What a
So-
dick.
You want to rate
let's, let's rate it. Okay, let's start with Robo.
6 out of 10.
I give it a 8 out of 10.
I maintain my 7 out of 10.
I'm new. I'm just gonna give it an 11 out of 10. 11.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's it. You're off the show.
I love the Spinal Tap reference. Nope, he referenced Spinal Tap. He's in.
Oh man.
Chris.
So yeah, I liked it.
Oh, hold on. You really like bit aside, you like it. Like this is a fucking awesome volume. You love it.
I reread of all the Valiant stuff. I've reread probably Archer and Armstrong with Ivar, however you pronounce his name. Once it's a movie, I'll know for sure. More than any of the other ones. Even though I love Kent stuff or Lemire stuff, I've read the Archer and Armstrong, Ivar straight through 3 or 4 times just because it's an easy read. It's a palate cleanser after reading Sandman or any of that other deep stuff.
Yeah. All right.
Makes
cool.
sense. Cool.
And it's shorter than Invincible.
True.
That's true.
Yeah. 9 out of 10. I still think that EXO is my favorite Valiant thing so far, but this was. I love this. Yeah.
We're all over the map here.
Yeah.
Wow, I like it. It's good. It's good to have this much variance of opinion.
I told you before I came on, I was like, just know I'm a Valiant homer. I mean, I don't bind this shit just for fun.
That's right.
Well, I again, we haven't even talked about this, so everyone, apologize, but just I would vote to extend an open invitation to anytime you want to jump on Club Valiant, since I mean, you seem to be part of the target audience of
If you guys will have me and I can get my kids out of the house, I'm in. But yeah, that's very
Make your
wife
kids
dependent.
read Valiant comics and have them on 2.
Oh, well, they're 4.5.
It's never too early to start.
I mean, they know some words, right?
It says YA.
Yeah, we're reading Hilo right now.
Oh,
Nice.
You guys know Hilo?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Kylo Ren, yeah. Kylo.
Oh, it's Judd Winnick.
My stepsons are 8 and 9, so I'm a little bit above beyond that, but yeah, I know that.
Yeah. I tried reading Super Dinosaur, and my wife's like, "That's too violent. Do not read them Super Dinosaur."
Me and your wife would not get along.
Right on. So I'm gonna just go ahead and set everybody up. Oh, it's a man on my screen, Baby Yoda. Okay, so
His name is Grogu. Damn it!
No, Baby Yoda.
Grogu.
Yeah,
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
So this is our next book. This is what we're gonna read in 2 weeks. This will be the first volume of The Eternal Warrior. It's by Greg Pak, illustrated by Trevor Hairsine. So the art is going to be beautiful, whether we like it or not. So we got this, and then after that, we're returning to the Armstrong and Archer series with Archer and Armstrong Volume 2. And this one, the subtitle is The Eternal Warrior. So, yeah, hint at the Eternal Warrior at the end of the one we just did. Then we get our own little Eternal Warrior snack, and then we get our Archer and Armstrong and Eternal Warrior book. So
Nice.
that's what's going on. And then I'm not going to show it.
Just try to make it through Eternal Warrior. Just try.
Eternal Warrior gets awesome later.
The fact
There will
that
be
everyone is down on it makes me think I'm gonna love it.
there's a point.
Lord,
There's a point. I'll say this: there's a point where you will fucking love Eternal Warrior in your Valiant reading career, but it's not gonna happen with this next volume. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong.
It's not his series.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It'll be, even if everyone hates it, it'll be fun to like dump on it, I guess. Hopefully Greg Pak never watches, because I do want him on the show at some point.
I feel
We have
like
to
Greg
preface
I love
every
his stuff.
Yeah,
we got to
like,
preface every criticism with, but Greg Pak's awesome.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
resume
Yeah,
is
no, he's
strong
totally
enough,
awesome.
but like I think you can take one bad series.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. So any parting shots, or Robo, you want to take us out? Not my name. Good to see you. We're just finishing up.
Oh. Let's see, who do we got in here? Danny's here, not my name. Yep, late to the show. Sorry, we're just about to sign out. And yeah, Danny, Greg Pak
Greg Pak does rule.
does.
I
Him
don't
too.
know who
Great.
Greg is, but Greg's really
So
good.
Trey Johnson, hopefully you've been watching, and you're not just showing up because we are done. Ladies and gentlemen and MBs, that is the end of our show. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to find us. What's today? Sunday? So Saturday.
Jack of Hearts Day. Jack of Hearts Day.
Jack of Hearts. Oh, that's
It's National Jack of Hearts Day.
right.
I ordered a Jack of Hearts t-shirt off eBay today, so that will be a part of my regular.
Jack of Hearts pants is what you need.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And that's it. Don't forget to wash your hands. Go get fucking vaccinated.
Like,
And,
please.
yeah, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. We love you. And goodbye.
What's up, friendly neighborhood nerds? If you want to hear interviews from industry pros, get first looks, and have access to endless comic content, wake up. Please wake up. You're in a coma. Your mother misses you.